some people, they say that if you have smaller amount of views, but these are hardcore supporters of your brand, make more money from those than the rest. The higher the ticket, the narrower you want to be. So let's say if you're selling something for $100, you want to be as broad as possible. If you are selling something for $10,000, you want to be as narrow as possible.
Not words on a screen and stock images anymore. Now you're a whole personality, and I feel connected to you.
100%.
When we're onboarding a client, what kind of information do we need to collect from them about their ideal customer or their ICP?
Right. So every business needs to have an ideal client or ideal customer. If you don't have an ideal customer, you're basically, a lot of people say, I'm going to target everyone. When you do that, you're targeting no one. It's interesting to see like which brand targets everyone. It's probably Coca-Cola. But even then, like if you notice Coca-Cola commercials, they have a specific target audience in mind, because the goal of marketing is to get attention and basically get the people to respond. And for us to get anybody to respond, you have to basically turn on certain switches in their brain so that they can respond to us. So we have to basically understand who they are and what their aspirations is, and what do they think about, how they live their life. So they call it psychographic. So demographics and psychographics. Psychographics are their personality, their lifestyle, and the demographics like their age and gender and all of that. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to finding the ICP, which is the most difficult part, I think a lot of people know that they have to have their niche. Mm-hmm. But finding that niche is the difficult part. So how would someone or a business go about finding that niche? So what do you think? How can people find their niche in your mind?
I think people have a general idea, right? But I think as far as, really being targeted and intentional, it's there's research that's involved. And then there's intuition that's part of it as well.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of them, as you said, a lot of businesses already have customers. Mm-hmm. So we're talking here to a business that is already established. Mm-hmm. If someone's starting out fresh, they really don't know who their niche is, and it's going to be hard for them to figure it out. But if a company that is already established, they can look at their book of business. So let's say, for example, we at Parrots Lab, we have a book of business, fairly generalized, but if you can categorize our book of business, you will notice that they are either home services businesses or professional services businesses. And part of it is, yes, by design, we target those, because our platform is a content platform and we want to highlight personal brands. That's where my passion is as a founder. And so we started working with the professional services and home services, and we find success with it. So that's their starting point. And then in the professional services and home services, so that's why I mentioned here, you look into the resume, right? So the resume basically for a person is going to be like, who do you work with before? And then for the business is basically the book of business for that company. So you look into that thing and you see the jobs that you've done before. And then you start listing down the possible niches that you will need to find those. So how do we find our best ideal customer? So ideal is the ICP, the ideal. This brings us to a conversation where how wide do we go and how narrow do we go? It's still an ideal client profile. Business owners is not general public, but it's fairly wide still. But I can also say I worked with barber shops in Banning. Okay, so now we're going to a very, 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 very specific. So on what basis and what decision do you make whether you go wide or narrow?
What's the sweet spot?
What's the sweet spot? So let's have a dialogue here.
I mean, there's so many factors to consider, and it's interesting the way that you presented it. Thinking of it as ourselves and our skill sets can kind of be separated into these niches, but we can't be everything in our chosen career path. So we have to find a certain area to specialize in. So I appreciate this example that you provided and how it kind of gives that context. As far as knowing where that sweet spot is, I think that there's probably a trial and error process to it. There's definitely more research that goes into it. And then I think passion, as you mentioned, is going to be a part of that as well. If you have certain areas that you're more passionate about, of course, that's an area that you're going to lean into as well.
So the question is whether we go broad versus narrow, and where do we fit on the spectrum?
Yes.
So the higher the ticket, the narrower you want to be. So let's say if you're selling something for $100, you want to be as broad as possible. If you are selling something for $10,000, you want to be as narrow as possible.
Very interesting.
So for example, in the Rolex, right? How narrow is the Rolex client? It's very narrow because, their price tag. When it comes to content, if you're creating content, who do you target? Broad or narrow? If you want more views, you will go broad. If you want less views but deep connection with those audience, you will go narrow. If you want like those, for example, if someone is really a fan of a specific football club and they are in the same school district and stuff, like they will be like your buddies more than your audience on social. But then the broader you become, the more like people become indifferent about your content, but they will consume it. But because it's so broad, they don't feel that like fanatic or affiliation with your brand so a lot of people chase the views. Like we want to get viral, we want to go get a lot of views. But there's some people, they say that if you have smaller amount of views, but these are hardcore supporters of your brand, you may make more money from those than the rest. So in general, if we want to find our target audience, there's that. When it comes to, let's say you listed down all the people you've worked with before. And you start listing down. So now how would you evaluate your ideal client? So this is, you see where we're going with this. So we will put the people in our list. So let's say we identified 10, 15 people in our book of business. And we say, okay, our services solve some sort of problem or a pain. Now, how big is that pain to that group of customers? So if they have the biggest pain and you desperately want you, so you put them in the in this category right here, in the biggest pain category. And then how easy is it to find them? So there are some niches or some that are so niched out that it's almost impossible to find. Like they're really there's no like trade groups around them. There's no BNI. They're not part of BNI. So there are some particular niches that are so hard to find. So you could rank them which one are easier to find. Let's say you, like in our case, like what are easier to find? The BNI groups. People in the BNI, they're easier to find for us because we're members. People within the Inland Empire in general are usually easier to find than people in New York. So we start looking for the people who are easier to find. So now this is when you take this book of business and you list down all the people who are easier to find. Now there might be intersections between these two circles. So there might be some people here in these circles, and that's okay. And then the third category is that purchase power. So do they have the means to buy from your services? And so in this case, you may have some people, because there's always unicorns. There are always people within a particular niche that can afford and they can indulge into something bigger. But if you look at it in general, who are do this group of people or a group of do this niche, generally speaking, can afford. Take for example, if junk removal. I'm sure that you will find junk removal companies who can afford, who make millions of dollars and can afford $10,000 service. But then if you look at 80 or 90% of junk operators, they're probably just one person with a trailer. And so they are barely trying to like survive. And so then you will ask yourself, are they your ideal? Do they have the purchase power in general? Again, you will always find anomalies in this. And then the last category, which is a lot of people ignore, is do we enjoy working with them? The reason why people ignore it is because they think, oh, I'm in business, I don't have to like what I do. But you will very soon realize that if your business does not bring you any joy, then you will be easier to give up on it. And so you may have, like, I'll tell you part of my experience. I got a very lucrative job as CMO of an insurance company. I was getting paid really well, way more than the previous one. But I was completely miserable. Yeah. And so I knew that even if they pay double of what I'm already paying, I'm still not going to work for them. Of course. And so that really tells the thing that we are people who like to enjoy working with whatever we're working. So that's part. So anyway, so this is the circle. Once you identify items in each of these categories, you may find that sweet spot in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's when you will say, okay, I'm going to lean in to this ideal client.
Excellent. What a great example. And, these are qualifying questions. We had our sales discussion last time, and these are all questions that we should be asking ourselves and evaluating when we're qualifying leads as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. 100%. A lot of business say, we work with everyone. That's okay. I mean, if someone wants to offer you their money and they're good fit for the service and you want to do it, I'm not saying that once you find your ideal client, then you will start saying no to every other opportunity.
Of course.
But this will help us in whenever we have a boardroom, whenever we are in a meeting and we have to have a customer seat on the table, because and then we will imagine that ideal client and we put them in the seat.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
A question about being easy to find. Because I think that there are some unique ways to interpret that, especially in our industry. When I think of easy to find, I don't, I think of it in a few different degrees. When you're looking for an ideal client for Parrots Lab, is it ideal to find someone who's not easy to find because of the opportunity to allow them to be found and to be seen? Or is it better to lean into a client who maybe is easier to find just because of an easier starting point, I guess?
Gotcha. When we're looking here, we're looking at the category of clients and not a specific one. Of course, like in our case, if someone already on social media and like all over the place, then, probably they don't need us because they already have a team or whatever. But when we're looking at the ideal client profile, we're looking at the niche itself.
Yes.
Like, for example, I will give you 2 examples and you tell me which one is easier to find. Okay. Injury lawyers versus watch repairers. The people who repair watches. Watch repairers. Which one is easier to find?
I would say injury lawyers.
Yeah.
It's more saturated, I think.
Yeah. I mean, a simple Google search, injury lawyers, a lot of Google business profile will pop, and then now you have leads. And then you can go like a lot, like cybersecurity special. I mean, you probably can find any right now with Google and AI and all of that. It's not impossible. So yeah, probably the easy to find, if I will put it in terms of importance, it's probably nowadays is not as important as the other.
Interesting.
Do they have a big pain that you're solving? Do they have the means to afford what you have to sell? And do you enjoy working with this category of clients?
Yeah, those are definitely important. And I think it's also about the potential impact. Of course we believe we can always bring value, but how much value do I feel I can really bring to this client based on their current pain points and all of those other things.
Bring a great point. And this is very much correlated to the biggest pain. If they have a biggest pain, your service is going to deliver much more impact.
Absolutely.
Because they have a big pain.
Yes.
So, this is how we look at ideal client profiles.
Fantastic. And how do you extract from a client when you're initially meeting them what they're hoping to achieve?
I learned this from Alex Hormozy. Again, I'm not the genius who know it all, but I listen to a lot of people, and this is what I learned.
This is
so
a knowledge transfer right now.
knowledge
Doesn't matter where it came from.
Exactly. So there's a formula that says I, or you can say we as a company, but like I help. And then here we install the ICP that we talked about in the previous video. So I help ideal client profile. And then the next part is achieve. And then here you fill in the blanks, the dream outcome. So the dream outcome is very much correlated to the biggest pain that we talked about also in the previous video. So we have the ICP, we have the dream outcome. So I help ICP achieve dream outcome within. So within and then time frame. So this anything above, like you could be perfectly fine with I help ICP achieve dream outcome, and you can stop there. But if you want to do a better job, like in terms of value proposition, so this is called the value proposition, which is very essential for any business to have a value proposition. So I help achieve dream. Okay, within time frame. Time frame is like we're going to talk and we're going to synthesize it. So I help ideal client profile achieve dream outcome within time frame. And then here, a lot of people miss it without key obstacle or objection. This is when people are going to say, "Oh no, but I tried this before and it did not work. Oh no, this is a scam. Oh, I don't believe you." So all of these objections come here. So we need to address them. So I help ICP achieve dream outcome within time frame without without the key obstacle or objection using the methodology. Words are cheap, and so that's why it's important for you to explain to your client how you're going to help them. Because that makes it believable. Every single day, I get messages on Instagram or WhatsApp or whatever. Hey, I can get you 10,000 followers tomorrow. Or, oh, I can, you're great, you're making great content. I can get you viral. How? How are you going to do that?
Yep.
If I believe your method, I might hire you. So the method becomes very important in terms of like maybe the dream outcome is to grow my business, is to get more clients, and everybody's promising you that on the internet. But then the differentiator is like, do you believe the method? Do you believe that this method is going to help achieve the dream outcome that we have? And then lastly, so some people add a guarantee. So the guarantee is divisive. Some people think it's overly used right now. Money back guarantee is the typical one, but then you can also use other types of guarantees like we keep working for free until we achieve that result, or your money back. So if we will get you 10 clients this summer or your money back.
Wow.
And people stop believing those. I feel like it's becoming so everybody's saying it.
Yes.
Nobody's believing it anymore. Because honestly, I don't believe it. I know that you're going to start working with it. You're going to take my cash, and it's going to be almost impossible to get that money back. And and nobody wants to go to the litigation route and filing lawsuits and stuff.
Exactly.
So the guarantee, if done intelligently, could work.
Okay.
But it's still it's like a so-so.
Okay.
And then lastly is the CTA. The CTA is that what is the next step that you want your client to take in that process of buying. So because the value proposition is usually delivered as an elevator pitch, as really so in the end of it, there should be some sort of, okay, I am your ideal client. I want the dream outcome that you're promising to within the time frame that you're saying it, and you handled my objections, and I believe that the method you're using is suitable for my brand. Thank you for the guarantee. I believe you already. What's the next step I need to take? That's when you say the CTA is like, book a call with our team, or click the link below, or send us a message, or whatever that action step is. Yeah, that's pretty much the value proposition, and you're filling in the blanks. Those items will give you so much clarity in your business that otherwise you won't get.
And do you expect all of your clients to know all of this information when they're booking with you, or is that something that you are willing to work through them with?
No, this is part of like our strategy work.
Yes.
So we in the survey we are collecting the information.
Yes.
And we're helping them figure this out
Of course.
on their own.
Of course.
But of course, if they want to have a strategy session, it's complementary. It's part of our service to help our clients identify their client profile, their ideal client profile, and then arrive into a value proposition that makes sense.
So we talked about biggest pain point. How does a client know what that pain point is?
Yeah, talk to your customer. The biggest thing is to really try to sit with your customers and talk to them and befriend them, and because that's when you start like uncovering the real pain. Because we can assume what they might be living through, but the more we talk to them, the better. Some people do surveys. Surveys are good, but you have to incentivize them. So you have to give them like an incentive to fill the survey. Focus groups are another way where you have a meeting with potential clients or clients, and then again incentivize them, pay them for the focus group, pay them for the information basically that they're going to provide you, because the information is going to provide you is going to be so much valuable to the business.
Definitely. Can you provide, or would you like to provide some examples of some pain points that you've helped clients alleviate?
So the clients who come to us usually have one of the two pains. Either they want to grow their business, so their business is not growing at the rate that they wish that they want, and they know that the digital marketing today is the most efficient way to grow your business, and we fulfill that pain. So your pain is that your business is not growing enough. Is not growing at the pace that you want it to grow, or not growing at all. We can fix that. So that's fixing the pain. And usually that's a very brutal pain. Like if a client's business is not growing, they really, desperately want it to grow. And unfortunately, it's one of those pains that chicken egg situation, where if their business hasn't been growing for a long time, they're usually short on cash. And when you tell them like, hey, you got to invest to see your business grow, it's basically a chicken egg situation.
Yeah.
And then, but it takes, like everything in life, it takes a leap of faith. When we started Parrots Lab, we did not have a lot of money. And I remember the $1,000 BNI subscription was a tough decision to make, because the amount of money I made that year was less than $2,000 in the entire year. And so now I have to join a group and I have to pay $1,000 up front. It was a big deal. So, I took the leap of faith, right? And the same goes for businesses who want to work with us. Of course, the people who are consider BNI as the only source of their customers are not our ideal client. Yes. But BNI is a stepping stone. So the first step is that, okay, you get BNI is like I would call it a product market fit. So if you have a business idea and you want to see if it has any value, you will join BNI. You will pay $1,000 and then sit in a room full of people who would love to refer your business. That's great. That's BNI. That's level 1. BNI gives you something I call product market fit, which means that you will know if your business got traction through referrals, through BNI. That means that you have a product market fit, which means that your business is legitimate.
Yeah.
Can stand the test of time.
It's your proof of concept.
Proof of concept, precisely that. Once you have the proof of concept, then you need a company like Parrots Lab. Why? Because you need to scale. That's the simple answer. You need to scale that proof of concept, because BNI cannot scale you, because you are in a room full of 20 people. Great. What's next?
Yeah.
There's no more room for, it's capped, and it's also unpredictable and unscalable. And so for those ambitious people who already got benefit from groups like BNI, and I'm not paid to promote BNI, but for those who are successful in networking and getting businesses, that means that their business have proof of concept, has a product market fit. And that means that now it's the time to invest in both organic and paid advertising. So organic content on social media and paid ads on social media. And of course, in the search engine optimization and website. So everything digital marketing will be your next step to scale. So that's how I see. I don't know what was the question.
That did tie it back to the pain point was the question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the pain point is So the first group is the business growth, right? Which is the most important group.
Yes.
There are other pain points that we help solve, which is the pain point of having a lot of expertise, a lot of knowledge, a lot of fire in you, and you want to share it with the world. And you know that the content on social media is the key, but you tried probably filming yourself and editing yourself, and you see how time consuming it is and how painful it is as an experience. So you would want to hire an expert or expert team to help you with putting things out. So I know at least two of my clients who tell me dearly, like they tell me like, look, coming to that studio and putting things out like makes me feel alive. So it's more to them, it's not just like marketing and business. It's more like they are sharing their gift with the world. And, you will have the chance to get a lot of people. Like so 1 hour will be, they call it leverage, right? So leverage is that you do a small amount of effort with big impact. A lever, if you're trying to move a big rock, you will use your hands, it doesn't work, but then you put this long lever under the rock, and then the longer the lever, the easier you need to pull to move that rock. So content is the same way. It's a lever because you record once and it has the chance to be seen by thousands and millions of people. I mean, the recent reel for Chris Markarian is like 700,000 views.
Amazing.
So it's
so that lever just keeps getting longer and longer.
And he's with no effort.
Absolutely.
Like with zero effort.
Yeah. That's incredible. We talked a little bit about our methodology for Parrots Lab, but how do you extract that information from your clients about what their methodology is and what their differentiators are?
100%. So this is the second part. Now we understand who are the ideal client profile. We know who that person is, and then we understand what the dream outcome where we want to take them and the time frame, and then the key obstacles, we address that, and then finally is how we're going to help them achieve that. In our case, for example, Parrots Lab, it's simple. You come to the studio for 1 or 2 hours, and then everything is handled for you. So our methodology is that we install a team of experts across all service groups within the digital marketing space, and this become your team who's going to scale your business to the next level. That's our methodology, is that we built a studio, we invested in the equipment, we invested in building up a team of editors, graphic designers, social media managers, SEO specialists, website developers, CRM specialists, all of the above, so that you will, when you start a subscription with us, instead of hiring all of what I just listed, and then you calculate how much you will have to pay, you are having a one flat fee, and then you will have access to all of these resources to help you. So that becomes our methodology or our unique selling proposition or unique attribute that very few of the competitors have. And so with that methodology, if you believe that method is going to work for you, then you have high likely that you will sign up for the service. Yeah, that's the business model. So the question is that, okay, how do we extract that method from clients? Well, we will look at, okay, how do you service the client? Okay, you're a plumbing business. Okay, when you receive a call that someone is having a leak, what's your approach? Oh, I do this first, and I go do this assessment first, and maybe I need to go and stop the leak first, and then we'll see the damage. And so you definitely document your process of how you approach a client's problem. Once you document that process, That becomes your unique selling proposition. Maybe you compare your process, your SOP with your competitor and see how can I add that flair? How can I add spice to that process? And that spice become an additional part of your methodology in how you service clients.
And then you talked a little bit about the guarantee, and it's controversial. What's your take on the guarantee? How do you address this with different clients?
Yes. So guarantees are very important. But if you choose the cheesy one, you're not going to be believed. Money back guaranteed. Like, for example, that statement, if I hear it, I'm looking the other way.
Yeah.
So if it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So a guarantee is something that everybody needs a guarantee, by the way.
Of course.
Like for you to buy anything, you need to have some sort of guarantee that whatever you're paying for is going to work. And so we need a guarantee, but how do we construct that guarantee? Again, I like to give Parrots Lab as an example. Like, what is the guarantee for when we tell you that, oh, we're going to build your personal brand and grow your business? That's our dream outcome. What's the guarantee to that? Well, I can pull up parrotslabmedia.com and I can show you all of these clients that we've helped, and you can see the videos yourself. You can see the quality yourself. I can show you the social media accounts of some of our clients. And then you can also see the number of views and the engagement and what we're doing with them. And then on the growing my business side, I can show you the cost per lead, because the leads are the most tangible things we can show. And these are exclusive leads for the clients. We're not brokers of leads. We're not bringing leads that are cold no, these are leads that are coming directly from an ad that the business owner has filmed in the studio with their face, with their promise. So these are a very exclusive lead tied to that client and not cold. So when we close the lead, they have high likely of closing than a lead from the internet. And so that's kind of like where the proof becomes embedded in how we present our offer to the client. It doesn't have to be like a guarantee, like with the word guarantee in it.
Of course.
Right? And then, you take that example and you apply it to your business, whatever that business is. Like, for example, when we did the bathroom, the team at Aloha Plumbing, they gave me a guarantee. They said, I believe anything is like guaranteed for 20 years or so, whatever. I don't want to quote them on that, but they definitely said something about like this machine or whatever, that plumbing thing. We guarantee that it's not going to leak. It's not, and if it does, we're ready to support you free of charge.
Oh, excellent.
That's their guarantee. So it depends. Every business has a guarantee. And now our job as their agency is to package that guarantee in the right words and put it in the right places.
Yes, absolutely. I think if you're too upfront with that money back guarantee, flashy, it almost feels like you don't have a lot of confidence in what you're providing, and you're expecting it to not work out as you expected. Yeah.
A lot of psychology involved.
Very
in
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful.
Communication is half psychology, I think.
Yeah.
Choosing the words and the tone and everything.
Oh, big time.
All psychology.
It's all part of it. Another part of our value proposition was that desired outcome. So talk to us a little bit about what that looks like for Parrots Lab, how you identify that for your clients.
Absolutely. So once we identify the ICP, this is a good time for us to analyze the heck out of their ICP. So again, the best way is to interview the ICP. So ask them questions about, okay, why did you hire us? Or maybe go to your previous clients and ask, why did you hire us? That will give us a lot of information. What was your pain point? So it's always the pain point is kind of the polar opposite of the dream outcome. So if we want to achieve the dream outcome here, we have to look at the pain point. The closer look we have to the pain we are solving, the easier it is to construct that dream outcome. And it's very much correlated. So sometimes the pain is really, if you're selling a luxury item, the pain is not so obvious. Like, why do you need that Gucci bag, right? Like, it's not like, oh, I'm suffering. I can't feed my kids and I need a Gucci bag, right? But then if you dig deeper into the psychology of the pain, it's like, it's self-actualization, right? It becomes, again, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you have to look at your ICP and where are they on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs as well.
Interesting.
Because if they're interested in self-actualization, which is leaving an impact, purpose, because they have all of their physical needs covered, they are a completely different category of clients, first of all, and also their pain is more sentimental and psychological and more like, I want to leave an impact, I want to have a voice, I want to, where if a business is struggling to put food in the table, their dream outcomes or their needs are more like, I need to pay the bills this month, so I need customers to, I need the phone to ring, and it's a completely different. So the way we construct the language for the dream outcome for that latter group, the group who want to pay the bills, we're gonna probably focus more on like, I'm gonna get you 10 qualified leads this week.
Yes.
I'm gonna feed your kids, like literally, because that's become the dream outcome.
Yeah. Well, when you talked about the Maslow's hierarchy, I was thinking of it from the ICP perspective, but you're taking it more from the client perspective. But I think maybe both need to be considered.
Explain that to me a little bit more. How did you think about it from the ICP perspective?
So where does your ICP fall on Maslow's hierarchy? What are their needs in reaching out to you and seeking out your business?
Okay. I don't remember do you remember the hierarchy of Maslow? I feel like
I know the first one was like the basic needs, like food,
shelter, food and shelter
and water. And then the next one was, I think, safety.
Safety.
Yeah.
Anyways, if people watching it, well,
they can look it up.
Look it up. And then I think love at some point is on top, and then the last one is self-actualization.
Yes.
So we, for Parrots Lab, our clients probably are on across the board, I would say.
And same with their ICPs, yeah.
Because in the end of the day, food and shelter, we might not, we're not really trying to put food and shelter, like we're not providing food and shelter.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if your business is going to die versus grow, and between the two is really the livelihood of your family, then yes, this could be the closer to the bottom part of the pyramid versus those who doing it for a different motive and different reasons. So yeah, so for us, about our ICP, messaging wise, we might have different messages for both of these segments. But for them to find their ICP using this method is also useful, like to determine, okay, what is the need that I'm fulfilling? Is it like a sentimental self-actualization need, or is it like a physical basic? Obviously the first one is more urgent and more bigger.
And for our clients, it could be across the board. You give plumbing as an example. There are luxuries in plumbing and there are necessities in plumbing. So It's really interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. Very good point. Okay.
Why branding and personal brand matter to our clients, or should matter to our clients?
Oh, I love this question. Personal brand. So back in the day, you will have rice. Let's take rice. So back in the day, you grow some rice, you go and then you go and people go and buy the rice. So the product was the hero, right? The product itself was the hero.
Yes.
Then this is era number one. Let's call it era one. There are different people who have started to make rice. So now we have the generic rice, but then we have multiple people doing it. You've got John's rice, and then some people start having logos, right, to differentiate. So now we're in the era of brand. So era number 2 is the era of brand, which means that you will pick Arial, not Persil, and Tide, not Clorox, whatever. So now we are starting to differentiate brands. And for e-commerce or for products like physical products, that's still the game. That's still the game. You build a company, you put a nice logo, you put a nice name, and you hammer with advertising. You instill the brand values and whatever attributes that you differentiates your logo from the other logo. Nike versus Adidas versus no brand, right? Versus somebody made in China, whatever. All of them made in China, but but in the physical product, it's still low ticket and physical product. It's still the logo. But when it comes to services, especially high ticket, then we need a personal brand. Why? Because with high ticket services, first of all, the service itself is not tangible. Like I cannot feel it. I cannot look at it and say nice colors, or I cannot say, oh, good quality. Like I don't know. It's a service is something that is a service, which is you don't know what level of service you're going to get before you actually get the service. So you need to trust that service is going to be delivered to you at the standards that is promised. So so now we established that we need to trust that the service is going to deliver to me and since it's high ticket, which means like if you're repairing a roof, you're looking at $20,000. So you would do a lot of research. So whenever people start to do research, meaning that they are actively looking and evaluating the different options that they have for that high ticket service that they need. And so when they start looking on the internet, where do they go? Yes, they go to Google, but then Google is just giving you text mostly. There's nothing much. Everybody has good reviews. Where we go next? Then we go next. This is, if you're like in the younger generation, you would go to TikTok and Instagram and you start searching there. Or you go through Google to go to the website, and then from the website you go down in the bottom, and then you see this Instagram logo, and then you click on it, and then it takes you to the Instagram profile of that company. Or you go to YouTube, and then you start seeing how people are buying on YouTube. So all of this stuff for high ticket services, personal brand is at the center of it. Because what personal brand allow you to get is that it's like another description of know, like, and trust. That's what the personal brand allow you to do, allow you to establish. So if you have choices between two companies you found on Google, one doesn't have any personal brand behind it. Say, again, you want to repair your roof. There's this company, they have 120 reviews. You go to the website, it's all stock photos and images. There's another company Y. You go to their website, you will see real humans wearing shirts with branded shirts. You will see a video of the founder. Welcome to our website. This is our company. I built it in 1989. I was he's telling his story. I built it with integrity, etc. Okay, so now so now I'm associated that brand with that person, and people buy from people in the end of the day. So it's a different beast. You go to their social media and you'll see more like proof. Again, remember, it's all about proof. I can guarantee everybody wants a proof. You see more proof of them delivering the service and, being on roofs and having testimonials and having, showing how they're doing the work without cutting corners. Instead of saying it, you can show it. You can say, hey guys, so now today we're doing these shingles, but a lot of people, they leave this unchecked, and now look how we are doing it differently.
Yes.
And so we're establishing know, like, and trust. So that's the importance of personal brand, is to do that, to establish that personal trust with that person. And then that's usually translates itself into dollar.
And now you're not words on a screen and stock images anymore. Now you're a whole personality, and I feel connected to you.
100%.
Yes.
Even if you weren't running ads, let's say you establish a personal brand and then you decided you want to increase sales, so you run ads. If you have a well-established personal brand, your ads convert at a lower rate, which means that you pay less per customer acquisition because your face is already has value. Even before I click on the ad, because I recognize your face and because I trust you, I trust your organic content, the ad becomes easier and you can, connect with the ad easier and then you can charge more. People are still go with you because they trust you. Trust is probably the most important asset we have. And the know, like, and trust. So the know and like are like these three words, they're magical because they're all super important. And the know is a prerequisite for both of them.
Of course.
If they don't know you, how they cannot trust you, they cannot like you. So they have to know you. So visibility is the number one priority for us, for Parrots Lab and what we do for our clients. The second one is likability. This is sometimes is God-given. I cannot control it. Some people you see them, you like them. You don't know why. I can guess that authenticity is one of them.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. Authenticity,
People
like
sense
just
that.
people be real and be who you are. And, you're not trying to be a personality that you are not.
Exactly. People see right through that, even through the screen.
100%. But definitely likability is one of the difficult ones. And then trust is closely associated with proof.
Yes.
So people trust when they see you deliver over and over and over again, same high quality service. So for us, like for example, for Parrots Lab, that's why I'm so keen on every video to be better than the previous one. Even if it's tiny improvement, as long as we keep pushing the envelope to deliver better quality videos, that's literally the proof over and over being stacked. So
Doesn't just represent us, it represents our clients too.
100%.
Right. Another thing it's great for us to know about our clients is who inspires them. Talk to me about who inspires you. What's important for you to know from your clients about who inspires them?
The story is part of the personal brand. So AI today can generate AI avatar and you can give it scripts and it can run rogue on the internet. You can pump up content on demand as many as you want. And overnight, it can start rendering these videos and putting them out. The problem with AI, it doesn't have a story. It doesn't have your background, your experiences, and then stories are, nobody can resist a good story. And so that's, again, very close to the previous conversation about how we create likability and trust. And then a good story sometimes can deliver on both. A good story inspires people and produce loyalty and all of that. And this is tied down to your friend probably. And I'm sure that you know Simon Sinek when he talked about Start With Why, his great book. He says, people buy why you do it and not what you do. So people buy what you do. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Okay, so that's basically it. So they buy why you do the thing that you do and not the bells and whistles and the features and the attributes. And he always referred back to Steve Jobs and, the story about, Steve Jobs, like his products early in, Apple products did not have the best specs. Windows are always on top, but people buy Apple because they associate themselves with the reason for Apple existence, so the purpose of Apple. And so, story and having an inspiring story and having a strong why for why you're doing this is tremendously important. In the personal injury world, everybody knows that there's the godfather of the industry is Morgan & Morgan. And Morgan and Morgan is built an empire in personal injury world out of his story. He keeps repeating it, and that's even now after like maybe they've been in business for like 50 years or something. But even till this day, that same story kept repeated in every ad they do, that's the power of a good story. And it's a good story about, his brother being, getting disabled out of an injury, and then they didn't receive compensation for it and stuff like that. So yeah, people rally behind a good story. So that's how important. And so for us, our clients, we would love to learn why they do it. And that's why the first thing they do the first thing I try to get them to do is to sit in an interview with me specifically, because my main goal is to try to uncover that why. Because once I find the why, everything else feels different and feels easy to be accomplished. Yeah. So the why is so important for the personal brand, for the business, for everything.
Yeah, it's really at the center of everything, and as it should be.
As it should be.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the only difference between humans and AI. Ooh. Is really we have a story.
Yeah, let's lean into it.
100%.
Is there anything else that you want your clients to know? So World Cup 2026 is coming up. Is content the biggest World Cup opportunity?
Definitely. So any event like the World Cup where a lot of people like pay attention to is definitely an opportunity, because attention, or people's attention, is the biggest asset. And I'm stealing this from Gary V. Gary Vaynerchuk, you know him. So attention is the biggest asset. Okay, so wherever your customer's attention is something of interest for us as marketers, because we want to ride that wave. If people are thinking of the World Cup, our content has to be embedded somehow about the World Cup. If our customers, again, back to the ideal customer, that's why it's very important to understand who is our ICP. And then once we understand the ICP, we need to list down their interests, their aspirations, their goals, their pains, their weaknesses, all of the attributes of that ICP needs to be listed. So if one of their interests is soccer and sports and World Cup and whatever, then that is part of your content pillars. So now you need to ride that wave and create content. And it's not like you have to force it. You have to find a way to correlate it, because oftentimes the business owner themselves, the personal brand, they are so much in touch with their customers. So they could literally like know what their customer is interested in and ride the wave and talk about whatever their customer. And usually successful entrepreneurs are the ones who can connect with their customers. And how would you connect? Is by common interests. So if you're interested in this, I will talk about it more, and then you will suddenly, he's like me. He's like a human like me. And that usually generates a lot of interest with the audience. So World Cup is huge because there's a lot of eyeballs on the World Cup. There's a lot of talk and social media engagement, and people are debating which team is going to be winning, which team is better, what player is doing better this year. They're doing a lot of like betting, and there's so much happening. Controversy around the tickets. I don't know if you've heard, but there are some crazy controversy in FIFA, and there's lawsuits against FIFA because FIFA, what did they did? FIFA is the organization body that organizes the World Cup. So they basically, this is the stadium, and then they have like different rows and stuff, and they sell the ticket price is based on how far and close to that thing. So they sold a bunch of tickets, and then they changed that all of a sudden. So your seat is here. Now it may be here or it may be getting closer. So they shuffled the seat organization after people bought the tickets.
Oh no.
So there are like things like that. So
Controversy.
So when you talk about these things,
Yeah.
people who are interested in that, they will jump on the thing. They will even engage and comment and create that thing. And that's all, again, visibility is the key component of the know. So now some people will discover you this way.
And I think there's a likability factor there too, to your point, in feeling connected to someone who has the same interest as you.
Precisely that.
If you were a business owner in the Inland Empire, how would you capitalize on this opportunity with your content?
Yeah, so I would definitely find correlations between how can I connect the content I create usually on social media and how can I have World Cup to be part of it somehow. So yeah, it's mainly like, okay, our people, our ICP are interested in this event. We are by default going to be interested in it. So we're going to post about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to engage them. We're going to ask them questions. We're going to have them create content for engage with our posts. And we're going to ride that topic to the best of our ability.
Definitely. And is World Cup 2026 different than World Cup 2022? What's different this year?
I heard that, again, I'm not a big on soccer I used to be, but I hear news here and there. One of the news is that there's more teams this year.
Okay.
Which means there are more matches, more eyeballs as well. Yes. So
wow, that's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Saad has sent us an email with more insights. Do you recall?
I don't, or I think that was the main thing, was more teams. Okay. And the last most important question, is it soccer or is it football?
To me, it's always going to be football.
Even though you said soccer a second ago.
I'm in America, so I have to because if I say football, people are going to go to the football league. There's a football league here, right?
We are in America currently, yes.
But it just makes more sense to me because it's a ball on that's been carried by the feet, and like the people are gonna,
Yeah.
So yes, soccer sounds really awkward. Like you're a sucker.
We just had to make up our own word, like we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fascinating though. Yeah. I think the world has to reconcile. Like I think the whole people around the world, the United Nations should make a meeting to decide whether this is soccer or football and which one is which.
Well, we're the only ones that said it's anything different, right?
Yeah, but
so then we just need to get on board.
Because the sport of football, the American football is very uniquely American. And it's not popular anywhere else.
Then it's just American football. Right?
You see what I mean? Like American football is almost only popular in America.
Yeah.
If American football was popular in Asia, then it's going to create a problem. We have to rename the American football itself.
Yeah.
Maybe we can call it American Football, so we can Association, AFA.
AFA, there we go.
So now we become like AFA becomes the name of the sport.
Yeah.
And then football becomes soccer.
Yeah, there you go. I think that's a great solution.
There you go.
Sign our petition at the link below.
Go
awesome.
on.